Hey, what's going on, Your Charisma team? Nathan Olson here from YourCharisma.com, helping you create your brand your way. On this channel, we do a lot of social media marketing help as well as Instagram tips. So if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Today, we're going to be talking about how to increase the views on your Instagram stories in 6 easy ways. Stay tuned. Alright, number one. When it comes to Instagram stories, one of the best ways to increase your views is just post when your audience is actually most engaged. So in the same fashion that a lot of people post content around certain engagement times when their audience is most active, you want to apply the same strategy to your Instagram story content, because the best way to honestly get in front of the eyes of the viewers is to be the first one to upload when they're active and on the platform. Because the way the Instagram stories works, when you're on the homepage of an account, it actually only shows their profile for their stories and then 4 other stories for the most recent updates. So if you're not uploading when they are using the platform, it's going to be hard to actually hold those 4 places, because you have to actually outpost the other followers that they're following. So if they have people that are constantly posting, it's going to be very tough to outrank them in the kind of Instagram SEO that it is for IG stories. But posting during active times is actually one of the best ways to actually just increase overall user activity and views, because you're getting on the platform when those users are actually using the platform. So it would make sense to post around those time in the same fashion that you do a content strategy for feed posts that way. Alright, number 2. Hashtags. When it comes to Instagram stories, the same fashion for content strategy, again, it applies. You have to use hashtags. Not only are hashtags allowed to create communities around them, but they're also, since Instagram's new Explore feed or Explore page algorithm has been changed, they actually categorize content in specific niches. And at the top of these niches, there's actually top-rated hashtags. And each of those hashtags has a following, they have a story. But what this means is actually Instagram is pushing for hashtag content, and they're trying to build more communities around that. So in order to start getting in front of people that you would not normally get in front of, it's important to use hashtags. Use them when they're necessary. Also use them when you're just trying to hit those extremely high hashtags. Like, for example, if you were to try and go for a top-rated hashtag such as hashtag luxury with a normal Instagram feed post, it would be very tough to be the top ranking post for that hashtag, because there are so many larger Instagram influencers that have tons of engagement on their posts. However, if you're able to get onto the story, which is a little bit easier because the Instagram algorithm just simply uploads content straight to those hashtags for people that use those hashtags in their Instagram stories. So it makes it easier to get in front of that audience for people that actually follow the hashtags and look at the content that's been placed on there. And the best thing is that the story is actually at the top of the Explore feed for niches, personal feeds, as well as hashtags. So when people navigate to there to view content, it's instantly going to be at the very top in a little icon. Alright, number 3, guys, location. So location, this is going to be really important, not only if you're an Instagram influencer, but if you're actually a brick and mortar business. So if you want to increase views, foot traffic, and overall brand awareness in your local area, location is actually a huge thing that you want to start integrating into your Instagram posts as well as your Instagram story posts. Because in the same fashion that hashtags have a community built around them and they have stories at the top of the hashtag that show the kind of content that's being placed around it by users, locations are actually done in the same fashion. They have communities built around them, people post content. Using those locations, the Instagram team actually vets that content. They actually go through and curate it, and they actually start building an account profile around the location, because what this acts as is a vision board for the location itself. So for example, for a tourist spot, I live in Maryland, so let's use Annapolis, Maryland as a location. If you go to the Annapolis, Maryland actual geotag on Instagram, it shows you a ton of content. There's a ton of Instagram stories that are posted daily about it, and it shows you the overall vibe, the overall setting, the overall activities, what people are doing in Annapolis. So this is kind of acts as a look into the future. If someone was going to visit here, what might they expect? So this is a great way if you're a business or an Instagram influencer that provides a specific service. Getting on here and being one of the top ranked posts as well as the top ranked people can be huge for increasing overall local brand awareness and local traffic. Number 4, use @mentions. It's a great way to start networking on Instagram. If you start shouting out other individuals via your Instagram story posts, you can use @mentions by simply adding the sticker, or you can actually just type it in. And So a good way to use this is that if you're actually using a branded product, for example, you want to capture the audience of a specific brand or company. A great way to do that is to just simply post yourself using the branded content, because a lot of companies and corporations will actually repost user-generated content because it gives them their brand specifically more authenticity. It has better reviews, it gives it transparency. So if you're one of those accounts, or you're an individual that uses the branded product, you could actually boost your overall Instagram views, followers, and engagement by simply showing up on their feed, showing up on their story, because people will actually check you out because you're a like-minded individual using their product in the same fashion that their audience would use that product. So the audience already kind of has a more personable, more friendly nature towards you because you're within the same community. So using @mentions to shout out brands, as well as influencers. If you're trying to network with a specific influencer, a lot of people do shout out for shout out, which means that if you do an @mention, the other account will also do an @mention in order to kind of like cross-pollinate followers, cross-promote each other to help one another grow. This is really, really useful for accounts that are starting to become Instagram influencer level. You can reach out to accounts that are within your follower range or that are below your follower range. When reaching out to accounts above your follower range, you kind of want to try to provide more value to them than they would to you, because they have the audience value that you're seeking. So maybe give them 2 shout outs for your one. That's just a simple tip in order to kind of start networking with larger influencers. Number 5, questions and polls. This is one of my favorite features on the Instagram story platform. It not only allows you to get direct data about your audience, but it also increases overall user engagement, because now audiences are actually intrigued. You're asking specific questions. You're kind of looking to see their input, and that's what a community or a following actually wants to feel. They want to feel valued when their response is actually given a significant weight as to the content role, which it should, because your platform, your organization, your brand is entirely based around the following that you have. It is important that you put out content that actually is useful to them. It provides them more value, and the best way to do that is with polls and questions. One of the easiest things that you can do is just simply take the pen tool, black out a background, and then just ask a specific question, have a poll, have a question. A good way to test new content strategies or to get a prediction on how a future product might do is to simply ask the audience. A lot of people just don't think about this, or they just don't take the time to do so, and it's really just very simple to do. It's super useful, and the data that you're collecting is actually something that is highly valuable. It's an exact user response. This is something that a lot of marketers and a lot of digital marketing companies are seeking after. They want that data. That data is extremely valuable. So just being able to extract that with very ease simply through an Instagram post is something that cannot be looked over. You have to use that as a vital tool in just kind of getting an overall understanding of your audience profile. All right, number 6. The last one, it has to be creative, guys. Instagram stories are only a 24-hour timeline, which means that you can start creating content whenever you want. It doesn't matter how good or bad it has to be. We strongly urge you to kind of edit and curate content beforehand, but if you're an off-the-fly, off-the-cuff kind of person that wants to post Instagram stories like that, that is completely fine. However, we do suggest that you use it as a testing ground. Start implementing new creative strategies, start taking different angles, start using all the different features. A lot of the things that I like to use, I love to use the GIFs. I think it kind of creates nice little animations for still photos. I love the rewind feature because you can shoot unique videos in that fashion. So just start playing around with all the settings. So there's a lot of way that you can get creative with Instagram. That's the whole basis around the platform, is a creative community. So start putting forth a little bit more effort in your Instagram story posts, and you will start seeing a massive increase in views. Utilizing all these 6 tips will drastically help you reach the top of the Instagram story posts and kind of ensure that you're getting the views that your Instagram deserves. That's going to wrap up this video, guys. I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed it. Make sure to stay around for all the tips and stay tuned for the next video.